It's me, Pyregrove. We got ourselves into quite the pickle today. Almost had the largest ISK loss to date doing some level 2 combat career missions. You can see my ship fit in the bottom left corner. Note that this is a very unoptimized fit due to training requirements. While this may work for newer players, it is by far not the best this ship can be. To start level 2 missions, you'll need to find an agent that offers them. Your standing with a faction or corporation needs to be at least 1, which you can gain by completing level 1 missions. Check the agent finder to locate available agents. I was able to do this level 2 mission due to the career missions I completed before. Level 2 missions bring stronger enemies and more varied objectives. While some advanced frigates can handle them, most players opt for cruiser due to their better firepower and defenses. Here are some popular choices. Caracal and Caldari ship with great missile range and solid shields. Vexor and Galente ship with great versatile drone-based combat. Rupture and Mimitar ship with great projectile weapon damage. Omen and Amar ship with great laser-based firepower. This is the start of the mission that requires you to kill a couple enemies before progressing through the acceleration gate. Level 2 missions introduce more enemy ships and new mechanics. Here's how to handle them effectively. Check the mission briefing for special objectives. Some require more than just eliminating enemies. Manage your range based on your ship's strengths, kite enemies at long range, or get in close with a strong tank. Prioritize targets. Fast enemy frigates can tackle you, so take them out first. You will be able to see this in action, as this is what causes me to have to escape. Be cautious of reinforcements. Some ships trigger additional enemy waves when destroyed. Missions often have various triggers that cause new enemies to spawn. The most common trigger is to attack or kill certain ships. It is often important to avoid activating many triggers at once, so you don't get overwhelmed. Mission pockets will often contain acceleration gates that take you deeper into enemy territory. These gates are often locked until all nearby enemies have been defeated. If you get to a gate you can't activate, make sure that you have found and killed all the enemy ships in the area. Also, sometimes you have to loot the commander of the defending ships to get a key that unlocks the gate. Some missions tell you to go to a place, kill the ships there, and wait for reinforcements to arrive so that you can kill them too. If you don't read the mission statement, you may miss this notice and go back to the agent before the mission is finished. Some missions look simple and easy until a fleet of enemies suddenly appears. For example, cargo delivery tells you to fly to a warehouse to pick up cargo. Simple enough, but once you pick up the cargo, a cluster of ships appears and targets you. You are right next to the warehouse at this point, and if you panic and try to warp out, you can get stuck, warp disrupted, and then of course, utterly destroyed. I attempted to go for the furthest enemies in this mission to be able to kill all the ships together for easy looting. This was ultimately a mistake. Thank God that there wasn't a warp disruptor ship in range, or I would have lost this ship for sure. Definitely need to attach a web of fire or something to allow my turrets to track faster opponents better. Turret mechanics dictate how accurately turrets hit and how much damage is dealt. It is obvious that these two are connected since missing shots directly affects applied damage, but the hit and damage mechanics are actually connected in another way too. There are basically two things that affect your chance to hit a target with a turret-mounted weapon: range and tracking. Tracking tells how well turrets hit a moving target. If the target is stationary relative to the shooter, tracking is ignored, and only range effects hit chance. If the target is both inside optimal range and stationary, the turrets have 100% chance to hit. As a result, against stationary target, the turret tracking is irrelevant, and even the largest turrets can hit the smallest targets if the target is foolish enough to sit still. Against moving targets, the tracking is more complicated concept than range due to larger number of variables, less intuitive variables, the player not seeing all the variables, and chaotically changing variables. Tracking depends on 3 variables: turret tracking, angular velocity, and target signature radius. The conclusion from all the information about tracking speed and signature radius is, when you want to avoid damage, you want your angular velocity to be as high as possible and your signature radius to be low. But if you want to hit, should probably try to fight within your gun's optimal range, but be prepared to fight within your optimal plus fall-off range if you must. One of the simplest yet important rules to remember is that 2 ships always have the same range and angular velocity towards each other. The pilot, who can control these 2 values, can control how much damage turrets will be able to do. If the size and speed difference between you and your target is not so great, you may be able to reduce their angular velocity simply by maneuvering. You can try burning away from them, hopefully encouraging them to follow you in a straight line. If they're not chasing you directly, you can try burning on a course parallel to theirs and in the same direction, which should also reduce angular velocity. If they're trying to keep beyond a particular range from you, you can try burning straight towards them. They may make the mistake of burning directly away from you along the course you're traveling. If you're fighting a player who's trying to keep outside of web range, but has to stay within the range of a long point to keep you tackled, you can try burning away to get them to chase you, and then turning around and burning towards them. At least this will disrupt their orbit, and at best you will trick them into web range. Mission level 1 is where most new players start. Most, if not all, level 1 missions can be done in a basic frigate. Only the most basic piloting skills are required. Level 2 missions can be done in a cruiser or in a destroyer piloted by a more skilled pilot. These missions generally expect that you are continually improving your piloting skills and learning how to fit out new ships. Level 3 missions require a battle cruiser. These missions go faster if you have trained for better ships and at least some Tech 2 fittings. Level 4 missions require a battleship with full T2 tank fitted. These missions can be time-consuming, but they offer large rewards. Level 5 missions are designed for groups of players or capital ship and are exclusively located in low security space. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you learned something today.